Hi everyone, welcome to a segment that I'm going to start because I am kind of just in this weird place where I have a lot of things to talk about and a lot of things on my mind, and I don't really want to burden any of my friends or family with it. So I'm going to do it while coloring, and I'm calling it Crashout coloring. So I'm just going to talk about whatever is on my mind. Um, while I color. Yeah. I have this cute coloring page that I printed off of Pinterest. What is that? That's kind of gross. That I printed off of Pinterest of this bunny. I've been seeing a lot of these coloring pages, like these kinds of coloring pages everywhere. So I'm thinking about investing in a coloring book for one of those. But I have a list of things that I wanted to talk about today. It's currently 8:42, February 7th. So happy Black History Month. I am going to make this bunny. I'm gonna make her a nice shade of light orange. Okay, so the first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, and also I'm sorry if my camera's shaking, I had to make this really sketchy ass tripod little thing. My camera's being held up with a bunch of hair ties right now, so I'm so sorry about that if that's hard for you to watch. And also, my camera has this really weird, I'm trying not to say so much, side tangent. I am going to try to stop saying so much, which is one of the reasons why I'm starting to do this crash out coloring thing. One, because I just need a place to vent, but also I realized lately in school that I am sort of bad at articulating my thoughts. I say and a lot. I did a little sociolinguistics paper on that a really long time ago, last year in my junior year, and I talked about how many times people say in passing conversation and how has kind of just lost the meaning. So I'm gonna try to condition myself to not say it as much. Not that it's that big of a problem. It doesn't really take away from your intelligence, but I personally just don't like the way that I sound whenever I use in every other word of every other sentence that I say. So I'm gonna try to watch that. I'm probably gonna kill myself watching over this footage and realizing how much I say so I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there that I'm trying to change. So, anyway, where was I? I'm in this sort of weird limbo of senior year right now. It's February, so all of our college applications are in. Also, I can't tell if you can see what I'm doing. I hope you can see what I'm doing. All of our college applications are in. It's past regular decision, the regular decision deadline. And I'm kind of just waiting for things to happen now. And I just had a crash out about college lately because that all of my close friends experienced, which I am so fortunate to have such a great, loving group of friends that I can genuinely show the ugliest part of me, because crashing out makes me feel like a monster. I genuinely feel like a ball of rage that gets stared at all the time whenever I crash out. And I know it's supposed to be healthy to talk about your feelings, especially big ones such as crashing out and things that frustrate you, but dealing with being perceived after crashing out is actually the scariest thing you'll ever go through in your life. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person who is alone in that, but I kind of hate it. I'm still kind of dealing with it and kind of dealing with trying to show more self-restraint and self-control when it comes to being frustrated and just needing a release. But also, I'm just really lucky to have a great group of friends that I am able to crash out in front of, and I don't have to worry about them judging me. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I crashed out in front of my friends 2 days ago, just thinking about college and the whole admissions process, because I am somebody who applied test optional to all of my colleges. I have straight A's. I have a 4.7. I've taken 10 AP classes. I really pushed myself. I took all of the rigorous classes in high school. And I also have great extracurriculars. My resume is front and back. I hold leadership positions in all of them, and I've also founded a lot of things as well. But the one thing I'm lacking is a good SAT score that can set me apart from everybody else. I was talking to this with one of my friends in one of my art classes, because you really go into senior year, unless you go to a really, really good high school that kind of coaches you through the whole college admissions process, you genuinely go through this whole admissions process not knowing jack shit and sort of figuring shit out by yourself, which sucks ass. Like, there goes me saying life again. But all of the things that I wish I would have known before going into college admissions and, like, the whole process, things that I would have done my freshman year of high school, had I known how many opportunities it would have opened for me when it came time for college admissions. I should have been studying for the SAT had I, like, once I came out of the womb. Like, that's something that I genuinely crashed out about, because although we're in an era of test optional college admissions, which is great because not everybody is gonna be great at testing, standardized testing, even though the U.S. education curriculum is so fucked. Like, all we do ever is prepare for standardized testing and not even testing, like, whether students know any of the actual information. It's still fucked how many kids just don't do well in standardized testing. One of them being me, and I know I'm biased in this situation, obviously, because I just don't benefit from standardized testing, and a lot of people do, but it genuinely makes me want to crash out, because a couple days ago, one of my friends got an interview for a scholarship at one of our state schools, and I didn't, and I know that it's really bad to compare yourself to people, especially in this whole college admissions process, because it really is sometimes just a happenstance sort of thing. Not to diminish how worthy other people are, but genuinely sometimes college admissions is such a gamble that you really don't know who's going to get what opportunity and so forth. But I knew that he had a really, really good SAT score, and I didn't because I was test optional, but I also knew that my resume was front and back and his wasn't, and the fact that he got the opportunity to interview for this full ride program to our state school, which is a pretty easy state school to get into, actually made me, like, violent. It made me so frustrated. I felt like I just couldn't win. And I just felt like such a failure in that sense. Again, I know that what other people gain is not my lack, and that's a very immature perspective to take on things like this, but I worked so hard my last 4 years of high school, and it's the type of work that you put in for all of these years, and whenever you do something you don't want to do, or you do something that's so hard in this whole process, you just think this is gonna pay off in 4 years when I graduate, when I get into all of these colleges and I get all of these opportunities and all of these scholarships, and then you get here at the end of your 4 years and you're like, well, shit, I don't actually know if it's gonna pay off or not. And it's that just uncertainty that sits in your stomach and it literally just keeps me awake at night, because not knowing whether all of this hard work paid off or not is the scariest feeling ever. And I'm gonna be so happy if it does, but if it doesn't, I actually think that, like, I would blow myself up. I actually think that I would just, like, end my life there. I would drop out of college. And I think I'm going to become a tattoo artist, honestly. Like, I actually think that's my calling in life. That's genuinely a backup plan of mine, is becoming a tattoo artist. I'm so serious about this, too. I've thought about this, like, very thoroughly, because college is really expensive. First of all, in our economy right now, when eggs are $7, college is already expensive. I can just imagine how much more expensive it's going to be. And I think my backup plan is I'm good at drawing. I'm good at art. So if everything goes south, I'm actually just going to become a tattoo artist. And I'm actually just going to own my own practice and my own tattoo shop. And I'm going to live my life permanently marking people. That sounds so bad. I didn't like that. I'm going to spend my life tattooing people. I don't know why I didn't just lead with that. I'm so sorry. I'm going to become a tattoo artist, and I'm just going to drop off the face of the earth and live in a cabin, and just, you'll never hear from me again, ever, actually. Yeah, because I have strived so hard for academic validation these past 4 years, and the thing is something I realized is but I've come to terms with the fact that somebody is always going to be smarter than you. And that is something that I've been trying to settle into. But it's just so annoying when you work so hard. Like, you work twice as hard as these people who are ahead of you in life. And it seems like they're not even trying at all. And they're still ahead of you in every aspect. It's a gut-wrenching feeling. And it's something that I'm trying to come to terms with and kind of be okay with. I'm trying not to compare myself so much to other people because comparison is a thief of joy, as we've heard before, but it's so hard when you just want to be great and you want to be nonchalant about it, but those opportunities are just not coming to you, and you kind of have to prove to other people and yourself that you are great, you are smart, and I don't like doing that. I don't like proving that I'm smart. I don't like putting in so much work into the fact that I'm smart. But yet I find myself doing it anyway, because there's something about winning in front of people that is so self-indulgent and so selfish to say and so conceited to say, but there's something about it that really just, like, fuels you as a person. I don't know if I'm making sense, and I hope I don't sound like a brat saying that. I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm articulating it properly. But yeah, I'm just in this weird limbo. And also, I originally was just going to apply to state schools. I think I really dodged myself out at the beginning of my senior year. I was going through a lot of stuff mentally, and I felt like a failure, even though I tried really hard in school. I did really well in school. I can say that shit with my chest. I did well in school. And my resume is front and back, as I said before. I still cheaped myself out of a lot of good colleges that I feel like I should have applied to. And I only applied early admission to a lot of the state schools and my safety schools, mostly because I was in a place where I just didn't believe that I was going to get into any prestigious colleges. So imagine my surprise when I checked my email one day and I got an interview to Stanford. And I know it's just an interview, and if you look up the whole interview process for these prestigious schools, like the Ivy Leagues and Stanford and all of these other schools, like the UCs, getting an interview doesn't really mean anything, mostly because they can't offer everybody an interview. It's based off of alumni availability. But that gave me the biggest second wind I've ever felt in my life. Because I was just in this place where I was okay with going to state school. You know, I dreamed about going to, like, some prestigious Ivy League college, like every, like, academically adept high schooler does. Getting into high school, and then you get into high school and you realize, hey, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, because half of these kids who are going to Ivy League schools, when you watch those, like, what got me into Ivy League stat videos, it's actually fucking crazy. Like, do these people have lives? Do you live even? Like, do you go home even? Do you eat even? Because these kids have nonprofits. First of all, you're 16 years old. What the hell are you doing running a nonprofit? You should be, like, losing your virginity or something. Like, what the hell are you doing? Seriously. Like, get a life. And it makes me so angry that the bar is so high for some of these things. And they've been doing collegiate research since they came out of the womb. And, you know, their SAT scores, like, they're national merit scholars and DECA champions. And it's insane. Like, speech and debate, mock trial, HOSA. Like, they're insane. Not to mention they're probably a D1 athlete, too. And you see all of these stats and you're like, damn, I suck like shit. Like, I don't deserve anything. And I really thought that for a while because although my extracurriculars are good, I did not found a nonprofit. You know, I'm not a national merit scholar. And, you know, I just feel so unimpressive compared to these kids. Like, they're my age and they have won, like, a Diana Award. They have a fucking Nobel Prize. Who the hell are you? Like, seriously, do you live? And I just think about how many abandoned nonprofits there are going to be after this year's admission cycle, because there's no way you just did that on your own volition. And I know that makes me sound evil, because what if they really did? Like, what if they're actually passionate about that? But, come on. Like, I see right through that shit. There's no way college admissions see right through that. Again, college admissions aren't some omnipotent force that's like all-seeing. And those types of extracurriculars would definitely get you into them. But I was just very surprised and motivated after getting that Stanford interview. It definitely just felt like a sign that was like, hey, I am gonna give you this second chance to let you believe that you can make it. Like, you can actually get into one of these schools. And I let myself dream for a little bit, but it's hard dreaming because you have all of the what ifs. What if I do get in? How the hell am I paying for that? I come from a middle-class household. I probably won't qualify for any financial aid at all. And what the hell do I do when I work so hard to get into these colleges and I can't even go? Is that my peak? Me saying that I got into Stanford and I didn't even get to go because I didn't want to be in six-figure debt at the end of my 4 years of college? It's things like that keep me awake at night. And that's even if I get in, you know, getting an interview doesn't really mean anything, and I try to keep myself humble, but it's so hard when all you've been craving is just a win. Like, praying to God, please, 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 give me a win. Give me something that proves that I'm smart enough. Not that I need to prove myself to anybody, but in my mind, I still think that I do. So, yeah. That's where I am in this whole college admissions process. I definitely haven't gotten to the depth of my rage talking about it because I still don't really know how to articulate it. And there are some parts that I struggle to say out loud in front of my friends as well. So I don't know if I can even say that right now. So I'm gonna move on to something else. So the Super Bowl is on Sunday. It's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Eagles, and I'm gonna say I recently just got into watching football, and for a really embarrassing reason, I actually don't give a shit about any of the teams. I started watching, okay, so how I got into football is, you know when you're doing your homework and you put on like a show or like a YouTube video or something to have in the background? I started doing that, but I would get distracted by the videos that I was watching and then I would just not do my homework. But I needed some sort of background noise to have in the back of all of my videos. So I started putting these compilations of the Bengals because they came up on my, why was I about to call it a For You page? My recommended on YouTube. Of like a compilation of their season. It was the year that they went to the Super Bowl and they lost against Kansas City, but they had a really, really good run. So I watched that and I was like, hey, that quarterback is actually kind of cute. And long story short, I ended up like having an obsession with Joe Burrow in my 17-year-old mind. And, you know, I've been all over Tumblr and Pinterest. And I literally only watched the Bengals for Joe Burrow. So That's literally the only thing that I watch on Sundays. I'm not really embarrassed about that. If you are not pressed about that, fight me. I don't know. Don't really care. Just be glad that I'm watching football. But ever since I did get into watching football that way, I did start looking into other teams, and I understand the game. I actually understand the game now, which is really, really cool. Because I used to never understand football at all. What the hell is a down? Why are they so long? If it takes 4 tries, like, why does it take so long every fucking quarter? Why is each game 3 hours long? Seriously. And they're running back and forth, and it literally never made sense to me until I started watching the Bengals because of Joe Burrow, and suddenly it clicked. So, moral of the story, crushes work. Have celebrity crushes, because maybe you'll learn something new. And I'm really excited for the Super Bowl on Sunday because I'm actually going to watch it and it's actually going to make sense. I'm rooting for the Eagles. However, I always root for the underdogs. I feel like that's a given for a lot of people. I don't really have any problems with Kansas City. I know a lot of people don't like Kansas City because, obviously they just win every fucking Super Bowl ever. But I don't really mind them. I just would like to see the underdog succeed, especially because this is like their second time facing each other. Also, I think Travis Kelce is super fucking weird for his sentiments. Whenever he got asked in an interview, like, hey, are you excited that Donald Trump is going to be at the Super Bowl? And he was like, like any president, I'd be happy. No, it's Donald Trump. Like, you either have to be a yes or no type of guy. And the fact that he was very vague about it and did a very polished PR, didn't really say yes or no thing about it, kind of made him sound like a Trump supporter. And I don't support that. So, and then Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Eagles, when he got asked, hey, does it impact you knowing that Donald Trump's gonna be at the Super Bowl? His ass straight up said no. And that's on period. Like, that's, yeah. Like, that was cunty. Like, he really did that. He really did that one thing with that one word. He said no and kind of just, like, shrugged and rolled his eyes. And I think that's saying more than the amount of PR that Travis Kelce did. Like, a very PR response towards that. Because when you're dealing with a controversial political character like Donald Trump, who's actually, like, the scum of fucking earth right now, when they say bite your tongue, like, hold your tongue when it comes to that type of stuff, no. You either have to say yes or no. Be a Trump supporter or, like, outwardly speak out against him, but there's no in-between, because the in-between makes you sound ignorant. And I would hate it if, Taylor Swift's fucking boyfriend were a Trump supporter. Because, Taylor Swift being, like, a sweetheart and a very leftist person in her career. She originally was a very middle-grounded person. She didn't want to do any politics. She wanted to keep out of it. But eventually her career trajectory took a turn, and she realized that she actually did need to speak out about this type of stuff. The fact that she's dating somebody who can't is concerning. So I hope they talked about that at the dinner table, and I hope she writes a song about it. This is me trying to convince my boyfriend that Donald Trump's a bad person. That's what it would be called. So yeah, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I'm also excited for Kendrick Lamar's halftime Super Bowl show. That's gonna be so much fun after post-Grammys. Because his win for Not Like Us, and then the entirety of the Grammys audience singing and chanting A minor, I'd kill myself if I were Drake. Like, I'd actually end my life right then and there. So I know his thing's gonna be bomb. I know when the Bengals played the Chiefs 3 years ago, I think, don't count me on that, when they played them, they did the whole, like, rapper halftime show, and Kendrick did his little one thing, and I thought that was the best part of the show. He absolutely killed that, so I can't wait to see what he does on Sunday when he has a whole show to himself. I think SZA's supposed to be there as well, I think. Don't count me on that. I think that's just what I've heard, but that's gonna be amazing. And I just wonder what songs he's gonna play. I'm sure if I searched up the set list, I could probably find it, but I'm too lazy to do that, so we'll just have to speculate for now. The next thing I have on my list to talk about is weird encounters with people. I said this because being high school is really fucking weird. Like, I have so much anxiety walking down the hallway, and you know those people who you've had conversations with, but they were always in a group setting and they were never one-on-one, and you're not sure if they even know your name, but you've definitely spoken to them before and they've definitely spoken to you back. And then you pass them in the hallway and you both make eye contact with each other and you don't know if you should say hi or not. So you kind of just like make up an excuse to not look at them. That's happened to me this week, and I've been thinking about it. It happened to me on Monday, and I've been thinking about it ever since. There's this guy who, like, I am with like that. Wait, that sounds weird. There's this guy who I'm not quite sure. We're not friends, we're more of acquaintances, but he definitely knows who I am, and I definitely know who he is. And I was walking in the hallway the other day, and I saw him, and I want to kill myself half the time, because I do this to myself. I put myself in these situations where it's just an awkward encounter that doesn't have to be awkward, and I make it awkward. But I saw him, and I was like, I just had this feeling that I knew that he wasn't going to say hi, but I did, and we looked at each other, and I was like, oh, that's awkward. So I turned around and pretended like I heard somebody say my name. Nobody said my name, actually. I was just hearing things. And I was, like, a little bit far from him still, so after I turned around, he was still in front of me, walking in my direction. So then I turned around again and pretended that I heard something, and I just, like, tried everything in my power not to look at him. Oh my god, it's shit like that that literally keeps me awake at night. I hate how I can't just live. Like, maybe if I did look at him long enough, he would have said hi to me. You know? Who knows? Who knows? But I just had to make that awkward, and I know he probably thought, like, oh, why the fuck is she doing that? So, you know, I'll just die. It's okay. I'm gonna make this purple. That's something that happened, so I actually will die thinking about that now. I've been running it through my head for, like, the past, I don't even know, 3 days. But I did see him yesterday, and he did say hi to me. He waved. So I think that's fine, but it's still weird. I've been watching a lot of Brittany Broski lately, and the Broski Report. I look forward to that shit every single week. I love Brittany Broski and the way that she can literally just fill an empty room with so much, it's as if she's talking to people, but she's not, but she's so comfortable with herself. That's the level of comfortability that I'm trying to get at. Even just now, coloring in the dead quiet of my room by myself is really fucking weird, and talking to myself is really fucking weird. I talk to myself all the time. In fake scenarios in my head that I just will not say out loud when there's a camera rolling, but I really look up to Brittany a lot because she can just say things and be steadfast with her thoughts. I will double back on myself all the time. Just for fun, you know? I'm so insecure like that. I'm so anxious like that, you know, that's just me. This is real. This is me. And I just want to be able to say things in confidence, and even if I am embarrassed of them, just not want to take them back, because, you know, you move on. I want to be able to move on from things quickly, but not regret them. I think that's important to live by. I've been reading I finished the Poppy War series by R.F. Kuang. That series was probably the best book series I've read in a really, really long time. If you guys haven't read the Poppy War, you guys should read it. I'm not really sure how to explain it properly, because every single TikTok synopsis of this book says that it's enemies to lovers. This book is not about romance at all. This book is about a morally gray female character who will do whatever it takes to be a good soldier, and whatever it takes to free her country from a fucking oligarchy and corrupt politics. And it goes on for 3 chapters. I read that book in a very vulnerable time of my life where I really just needed motivation. Again, it was like the college admissions cycle where I just felt it was right before regular decisions were due, and I didn't feel like doing any of my applications because I was like, what the fuck? Like, what even is the point if I know I'm not going to get in? And it sounds so cheesy, but Rin Fang is actually the most badass character, and her don't give a shit attitude about whatever anybody's thinking, and her finding out how worthy she is actually of having a place on the battlefield and yielding her power really inspired me. Like, she's so badass. If there's any character that I like, or any character that I look up to, it's Rin Fang. And I think it's hard to look up to a lot of dystopian female characters because a lot of them fulfill a lot of, I guess, harmful stereotypes of just not being like other girls and, you know, being fucking 5'6" and slender and still super pretty even though they haven't showered in 3 days and are also on the run from a tyrannical government. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I really liked how R.F. Kuang left in a lot of ugly, I guess, not ugly, but conventionally unattractive features about Rin Fang because it brought her back down to earth. And also, R.F. Kuang is she just came out with Catabasis. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, or she hasn't come out with it yet, but she just wrote it, and I'm so excited to read it. It's like a whimsical, nonsensical fantasy, which, coming from R. Kuang, who is probably one of the best writers I've ever read in my life, in my short life, I'm 18, I'm so excited. Like, I'm so hyped to see or read that, because I have yet to read romance in any of her books. I've read Babel. I've read the entire Poppy War trilogy. I haven't read Yellowface yet, though. But the fact that all of her books, the hints of romance that she has are so good that an actual romance, I'm sad. I'm hyped. I'm ready. Like, I'm so excited. So I'm so excited for Catabasis. And I'm also excited for My Friends by Friedrich Bachmann. I need to pull up like a synopsis. You guys should pull up a synopsis and like read it. But essentially, it's a story of 4 friends who made their way into a famous painting, but nobody really like questions who they are. They're sort of just known as a part of the painting, but it retraces their friendship, their stories. I fucking love contemporary fiction like that, and I love Friedrich Bachmann's writing. I read A Man Called Uwe the summer before my sophomore year, and that was genuinely life-changing. I sobbed my eyes out, and I thought it was like the greatest sort of slice of life fiction that you could ever read. I love found family tropes. I'm such a sucker for found family tropes. Right now, I'm reading Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, and they are currently I'm at chapter like 21. They are currently in their found family dynamic, traveling their way through California, and I literally love them so much. I love found families. They're so cute, especially when there are kids and like romance dynamics and they all look out for each other. That really tickles my pickle. I love that shit so much. I think found family, any tropes, like romantic, or just non-romance in general, friendship dynamics even, Six of Crows, The Darkest Minds. Oh my god. It started with The Darkest Minds for me. Like, that was my book series. That's what catapulted me into reading. That was the first YA series I ever read. And I met Alexandra Bracken at National Book Festival in DC. Oh my god, she's so pretty. She's so nice. And Liam Stewart, Liam Stewart, they have never casted somebody so well. The one thing that he didn't have in the movie was his slight southern drawl, but Harris Dickinson is natively British, so, you know, that'll have to do. But I fucking love Liam Stewart. He's my guy. That's my guy, Liam. That's my guy, Liam. and Zoo and Chubbs. Them in the movie. Oh my god, the Darkest Minds movie deserved a second. They deserved Never Fade. And I'm so glad that, not glad, I'm so angry that it flopped, because I would have actually seen that. I would have seen that movie trilogy, that movie, not even trilogy, that whole movie series to the end. That was dystopia. That was my dystopia. I didn't read The Hunger Games. I'm reading The Hunger Games right now for the first time. So I'm on Catching Fire. I've watched the movies, but I never paid much attention to them, so it's essentially like I'm new to the story. I am on chapter 2 of Catching Fire. It's okay so far. It's just the fact that it's in first person that really throws me off. Because it's giving very Wattpad. I know at the time it probably was, the vibe, but it's not the vibe anymore. And I'm still getting used to it. Every time I open Catching Fire, I have to do a double take, because Katniss always says and I don't read a lot of first person. I think a lot of books are just not in first person anymore, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I think it's just a preference, but I get very much Wattpad AO3 vibes. Not even AO3. AO3 is mostly in third person. Oh my god, speaking of AO3, Manacled, for all those Dramini fanfiction readers, Manacled is actually getting a book adaptation, which is really fucking crazy. Like, some crazy ass shit. This is an AO3 fanfiction, and they essentially just changed the names. But we all know that this is about fucking Draco and Hermione. We all know. We know. But I think that's so cool for the writer. Her username is Sen Li Yu. I don't know if that's her actual name, but good for her, or good for them. I look forward to reading that. But if it's literally just copy and paste Manacled again, I don't know if I can read that again. Manacled actually, like, was burnt into my brain after I read it. So, I don't know if I can do that. But I'm excited. I'm so excited. I had boba today after school, and my stomach is turning. So I'm actually going to speed up this coloring process before I implode. Also, I really hope there aren't any people who get mad whenever I don't fill in the white spots. Because I know there are people on TikTok, whenever I watch those videos of the people with the alcohol markers and satisfyingly filling in coloring pages and shit, I always see those comments and they're pissed as fuck whenever they don't fill in, or they miss a hole or something. I really hope you guys aren't getting that right now, because I'm just a girl. Oh, a song that I'm obsessed with right now is that one song that's like, I will fall in love with you over and over again, from Epic, the musical. First of all, I didn't even know that was the Odyssey, essentially, in a musical. The Odyssey and the Iliad, is that what it is? Of Odysseus, and these two are the same. I don't like that. Oh, guys, please don't yell at me. Odysseus and Penelope. I didn't know that there was a musical about that, and I think that's cool as shit. Like, that's really fucking cool. And I listened to that today while I was getting gas for my car, and that shit fucking slaps. Like, we should make musical, actually no, because theater kids are really fucking annoying sometimes, but we should make some musical, some musical songs mainstream, I think, other than the Hamilton soundtrack, because you already know the vibes. Like, I feel like Hamilton's mainstream, you know what I mean? But we should start, like, treating some of these musical songs as if they're, like, a Disney song. Like, it should be socially acceptable to break out in this song, I think. Sometimes. Okay. I think... Wait. Must color her. I think I'm going to leave some of the bed sheets in this white and this, because I think we need a little bit of white in there. Okay. I think that's my finished coloring page. Thank you everybody for listening to what I had to say. This might have probably been boring to some of you. I don't really give a fuck, because I'm just here to talk. Sorry if I offended any theater kids, or, any Trumps. Actually, I'm not sorry for offending any Trump supporters. You should be offended. You're a Trump supporter. You're probably senile anyway. But, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go drink some water because my throat's dry now, and, try not to kill myself. I'll see you guys later. Bye.